What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV back here for another review stream for you guys. So the way today is going to be structured, as always, we're going to go into the match review, and then we're going to go into Twitter Reacts, actually. So we have to connect the phone, and then it is your chance to have your say. So if you want to get on in the call-in show and have your say, all gold members will be receiving the link in the community section. If you want to have your say and you're not a gold member, then the link is in the description below, or you can just join the link that says join just below the stream, and you can come on and have your say. But let's get straight into it, and let's go into the match review. And yeah, it was a really good, fun day at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium yesterday. I think how the game started wasn't the greatest. First 20 minutes, I thought, was probably West Ham's best moments in the game. I mean, it started off, didn't it, with that first chance where the Tottenham defenders were all just watching the ball, and Souček was allowed to pass it out to Bowen on the edge of the box, and Bowen just like screwed his shot a bit wide. But that could have been a lot more dangerous for us, to be fair, with Fraser Forster taking a year to get down. But I think that was in the first half their only real chance, wasn't it?
I don't remember too many like serious opportunities that they had in the first half. I think there was that one. Bowen as well had a shot kind of that flashed across face a goal, which Souček might have gone on the end of, but if he did get on the end of, he probably would have been offside anyway. When you look at that chance, so you compared to that to what Spurs had, I mean, we also didn't have much. Richarlison had a chance right at the end of the half, which forced a save out of Fabianski. Yeah, it was a really good pass. Didn't really sit down for Richarlison and went kind of forcing a bit far wide. You obviously had the penalty, which for some reason, not really sure why, but was a definite penalty in my opinion in that first half.
Because like, I think it's Richarlison has the ball right and he hits it, and Kehrer kind of like kneels down and like hits the ball away with his hand, and it's like such a penalty. I just don't understand how they don't even look at that again.
It's madness. I think it's madness. He kind of takes a swipe at the ball as well, and he's blocking the path of a pass.
Exactly.
Richarlison's
like,
trying to pass it to
Kane.
How
can they say that's a natural position for your hand to be in? It's clearly not.
He was claiming that he was like balancing or something like that, but for me, there was an extra movement in there. If he just blocked the pass, maybe there's a case for it. But there was a clear swipe at it as well to like get the ball away. So I think it was a deliberate handball, if anything, let alone unnatural position.
Looking.
Yeah, I think it was deliberate. Like it was a deliberate action. Yeah. So I was absolutely amazed, having seen that again on the replay, that that wasn't given as a penalty. I think it was a stone wall. Maybe it would have been different. You know, the perception of the first half would have been different had we taken the lead. We did struggle to break them down. They were playing very much like a 3-5-2 kind of formation early on, very, very much clogging up the central areas, having Souček, Rice and Downs kind of very much being very defensive in the middle, being very congested. Skipp and Højbjerg were playing well, but they weren't able to play through the centre. Every time we had the ball, we had to go out wide to Davis and Emerson, who were playing in the wing-back positions. And we weren't really able to find any moments of quality from the wide areas. Kulusevski was well shackled. Harry Kane had a couple of moments in the first half where he tried to get some shots off, but he slipped and wasn't really involved. Richarlison was looking busy, but wasn't really showing any quality. And it looked like it was going to be one of those days where West Ham were looking to frustrate us, and we struggled to really create any opportunities. And it was one of those first halves again where West Ham didn't have much. We had them under control, but we didn't look like scoring ourselves, and that was a problem.
Yeah, and obviously we had that chance right at the end of the first half with that corner where Romero just about heads over. But at half-time, I was kind of feeling frustrated, and I was thinking, like, West Ham are not looking good, but we're not looking too much better, to be fair. It was just a really boring first half of football, to be fair, with two poor sides going at it. But when the second half came, I thought a lot changed. West Ham, I thought, just opened up for us, really. And Kulusevski looked a lot more dangerous, and you saw he came alive straight away at the beginning of that second half. He'd done a player, got the ball into Harry Kane, and Harry Kane screwed it wide where he really should have done better, Harry Kane. And then at moments later, the goal comes with Højbjerg with a lovely defence-splitting ball to Ben Davis. Ben Davis squares it to Emerson, and Emerson slots it home with a really nice finish. And it was a really nice little tactical switch up there when Ben Davis and Emerson were so surging through the middle of the park with Højbjerg with that nice defensive splitting pass. But we haven't seen that too often tactically, really, when Ben Davies, who was the left wing back on the day, and Emerson Royale, they just come centrally. They were suddenly like our two strikers. They're not even like wide trying to get the crosses in the box. And I thought it was such a good goal, really, especially with that Højbjerg ball.
Yeah, I thought it was an excellent team goal. I thought you have to give all the credit in the world for Højbjerg, because I think he absolutely puts on right on a plate for Ben Davies. He doesn't have to break stride. He gets it right into his path. It's weighted to perfection from Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. Any more power or any less power, that goal doesn't happen. It literally weighted right on a sixpence for Ben Davies to run onto. Ben Davies, you got to give him credit. He outpaces, I think it was Kelleher. He gets on the wrong side of him. He times his run to absolute perfection as well. And then he cuts inside, plays a really nice first time pass into Emerson, and Emerson just takes it in his stride and slots it home. Brilliant finish. I have to say, I thought it was scuffed, but actually it was quite a clean finish in the end. He gets it right in the corner. Fair play to him. It was first time finish, didn't have to think about it, and just finishes it right into the corner. And he didn't look like the most comfortable finish, but it was accomplished. You have to say that. He side foots it into the corner. And it's a good goal, and both wing backs really contributing to the attack. I have to look at the pitch again, but I'm not sure where the attacking three are at that moment. But it looks like the West Ham defence were thinking about those three when those two steal in, and it was a really well worked goal. And it needed that bit of magic from Højbjerg to open them up, because it felt like we were really struggling. Yeah, when we started the first half, Kulusevski started with a purpose. He was actually pressing a lot higher, and he won the ball back, I think, twice in the opening 5 minutes, which created opportunities. But when it came from just in general open play, trying to open up West Ham, we were struggling a bit, even in that second half. But that moment of pretty much the first moment of quality in the game where we really opened up West Ham was provided by Højbjerg. And it's something that he has in him, which doesn't get enough credit, to be honest. He's done it a few times this season, those kind of passes which get us in those situations. And he did it again, and it was a really good timing. And I think from then on, we just had control of the game. I know Bowen had a chance.
Yeah, it was right
just after.
Goal, yeah.
They got a bit of luck with it. A kind of flick on by Antonio, kind of races through.
Yeah, I think Romero needs to be more aware there at that point, because Romero gets beaten by the ball. I think he got caught. With his mind elsewhere for a second, and obviously Bowen beats him to the ball, takes it past him, and Fraser Forster does really well to block it, to be fair.
Yeah, it's a good save. I think Romero is caught on his heels a bit. I did think it was a bit of luck from West Ham to find his way through to Bowen. I don't know if it was a good flick on by Antonio, but it was just kind of one of those moments where they looked like there was no danger, but then in a second Bowen just used his pace and he's through on goal. Obviously, Romero's putting him in under pressure. But it was a good save by Forster. One you expect him to make, but a good save nonetheless. He had to make it. But West Ham didn't really look like threatening to score or equalise, apart from that one moment in the second half. Spurs were pretty much on top. And it took until Sonny came on to kill the game, and it was clinical, and that's exactly what he can do off the bench. He comes on, he exploits the space, he waits for Harry Kane to get on the ball. He's fighting with Ogbonna for that second ball. He wins it. He plays Son for on goal. Brilliant first touch from him, and a clinical finish. And I actually thought, I was looking at that goal again, and I was thinking, why did Fabianski dive the wrong way for that one? Because you're thinking in that position, you would expect Son to go on that far post. But if you remember rightly, last season, I'm pretty sure Fabianski was in goal. If you go last season, there was a very similar situation right at the end of the game. Son goes through on goal, and he opens his body up and he fakes to go into the far corner and he whips it into the near post and he seals the game 3-1. So maybe Fabianski had that in his mind, that if Son's going to be through on goal again in that kind of position, he'll go near post. But maybe, and so Fabianski went near post this time, and Son Dubston went the other way. So I think that was maybe something interesting people maybe didn't pick up on.
Yeah, I think you're right there. But in terms of Harry Kane and his challenge with Ogbonna, I mean, Harry Kane was being physical up against the West Ham defenders all day long, but that was the one time where it actually paid off for us. He was having a tussle with Ogbonna. Ogbonna was forced to make a mistake. Kane latched onto it, and it was a lovely ball into Sonny, and Sonny obviously did the rest. I thought Harry Kane had a good game, to be fair. Really trying to be physical. A lot of the times where he was winning the balls in those areas, it wasn't coming off for us for one reason or another, but he was giving the West Ham defenders a lot of things to think about. He was coming deep to really knit the play together and to put his imprint on the game. But the one player I want to talk about is Cuti Romero yesterday. And Cuti Romero really seemed like he was back to his best yesterday. Countless amounts of breaking the line passes, ridiculous anticipation, perfectly timed tackles with aggression, composure in the build-up. I mean, what a performance Romero put in yesterday.
Yeah, he looked like he was at his best again, his most confident. I think he's kind of had a very up and down season for Tottenham. He's had some great displays, but also some indifferent ones, especially just after the World Cup and also a bit before the World Cup as well. He was, when he was playing, he wasn't kind of, I don't know, he just didn't seem himself. He seemed to be rushing, like obviously he likes to rush into tackles, but he seemed to be mistiming them a lot. He seemed to be giving the ball away when he was on the ball. He didn't seem confident when people were coming up against him. But this Romero that we saw yesterday was Romero is very, very best, anticipating challenges, being really confident on the ball, not rushing passes, waiting for the right pass, putting in those real crunching challenges to get the crowd going, get the team going, put us on the front foot as well. And get those customary long runs forward as well. He was definitely on that as well, and not scared to leave his back line and trying to help out at the attack. He was absolutely at his best yesterday, it's obviously it's great with Romero that those tackles stand out, but it also is a bit frustrating when you think about it, because like Romero, you see him often, like he does those real crunching, proactive tackles that get the crowd going, that get Tottenham on the front foot. But then you think as well, he's the only defender in our back three that does that. He's the only defender who's proactive, looking, anticipating those challenges. And you look at Dyer, Longley, and even Davis to a large extent. They're always in their defending, in their tackles, just reacting. They're always waiting to see what the attacker does before they decide what to do. Look for case in point, Eric Dyer against Leicester, backing off, waiting for the attacker to do something before he can react. Whereas Romero, he's the one always proactive. And sometimes it does get him in trouble being proactive, because sometimes he's the one doing something first, and then an attacker can adjust to that and get his body in the way and outmuscle him or do something different. But more often than not, he'll come away with the ball and he'll win the ball because of his quality, because of his anticipation skills. And I thought Antonio yesterday absolutely did not have a sniff. Obviously Dyer, I thought, and Longley and Davis all played well, but when it comes to being proactive and anticipating where the pass is going to go and putting those big, crunching, strong challenges in, Romero is in a league of his own in our team, completely.
No, he is. He's literally, we've said it plenty of times before, like he is the only proactive player, more or less, that we have in the team, especially from a defensive standpoint. And those tackles he was putting in on Jarrod Bowen, on Souček, on Antonio, I mean, he was not giving them a moment to think about what they can do next. He was flying in there with his anticipated challenge. And I love those dinks he does over the midfield into Harry Kane, where it really sets us off. And he did that a number of times where maybe the move kind of broke down, whether it be from Harry Kane or from a different player. But it was just such a good performance in there from Cuti Romero. A few other standout performers. First of all, let's talk about Ollie Skipp, because he got that booking so early on, showed such maturity to play the way he did for the remainder of the game, where I think he got booked on like the 20th minute or something like that. Ninth minute. Well, even more so. I mean, unbelievable from Ollie Skipp, and we've all given him his criticism this season, where he hasn't been up to scratch. He hasn't been as good as maybe he was under the latter Nuno stages and the early Conte stages, but he seems to be getting back to his best now. That cameo at Preston, that performance in the San Siro, and now he's topped it off with a lot with this performance against West Ham. I mean, we're really seeing Ollie Skipp getting back to his best now, aren't we?
Yeah, I think so. As we said, we was getting to the stage after he'd just come back from injury. When he did get on the pitch, he didn't look as sharp as his best. It was even getting to a stage where we had Bentancur, Højbjerg, Basuma and Sarr. You're like, Sarr was ahead of him even, and you're thinking, does Skipp just need a loan deal just to get back playing again? But maybe, obviously, you never want to see an injury or anything, but these injuries to Bentancur and Basuma have given him that role in the team again, and clearly he's looked at this opportunity to say, look, I'm going to get back to those levels I was before I had this bad injury, and I believe in my quality, and I think we all do. We all believe how good of a player he is, and yesterday again showed. You remember, he's still young. He's still, what, 22? He's still really, really young. And he plays with such maturity.
21, I think. Yeah.
Is he 21? Whatever. Yeah, I think he is 21. And he plays with such maturity, you forget how young he is. You think he's been around for ages. But he's still only 21. He's got so much football ahead of him. And yesterday, I thought he played really well with Højbjerg. I thought he kept Rice. Rice had such little influence in the game yesterday. And a large part was down to how well Ollie Skipp was.
He's still in Skippy's back pocket, mate.
Yeah, exactly.
That's where he is. And, you know, Arsenal spend 100 million on Rice to be dominated by Ollie Skipp. I thought it was an unbelievable performance from him yesterday.
I think he competed and won the most ground duels out of anyone yesterday. He competed for 10 and won 7 of them. And that shows how combative he was. I thought on the ball as well, he was neat and tidy, not so progressive, but played a couple of long passes, accurate long passes. But
a few nice drives down the centre as well.
Yeah, he was decent. He was confident. And that definitely was a good follow-on from his performance in the San Siro, where definitely it was a return to form for him. I'm very happy for him because those struggles must have really got to him, especially because a lot of it was down to injury, and then because he hasn't got back in the team, he's found it hard to get rhythm. But I'm very happy that he's back playing again and playing well. And it was I wouldn't say it was a big call, but it was a call to make to pick him over Sarr, because I thought Sarr was so exceptional in the San Siro. I thought it warranted another performance, but maybe the fact that Skipp's been here longer, he's more used to the Premier League, all these different things. Maybe that gave him the nod, and I think he repaid it with a good performance.
Also, on that Sarr performance in the San Siro, yes, he was unbelievable. But because he was so good that day, the Skippy performance in the San Siro went a bit under the radar, didn't it? Because Skippy was also brilliant that day. And on that performance alone, still warranted a start, even though Sarr was obviously better on the day. But both of them, from those performances, deserved to start in the next game, and obviously they both couldn't.
Yeah, I agree. I think Skipp, it was overshadowed by Sarr because Sarr was just that tiny bit much better than Skipp on the day. But Skipp definitely was a return to form for him as well, and he every bit as much as Sarr looked at home on that pitch and looked like he was at that level. So they both deserved plaudits and probably both deserved starts in this game. With Højbjerg coming back, he was always going to come back in the team, and it was a big call. And they made the call, and I think whether it was right or wrong, I reckon he could have played Sarr as well. He probably could also play well. Yeah. I'm just happy that we have Sarr and Skipp both available and both being options, and with Bentancur out and Basuma out for the long term, it's going to be needed for them to provide an option for the team. And I'm just so happy that, you know, all those worries, I'm not saying they're completely gone because Bentancur is so vital to this team, but if Sarr and Skipp can play to the levels they've been showing recently, then the problems aren't going to be half as bad as we thought they might be.
Yeah. Let's talk about the wing backs now. Let's start off with the man of the moment, Emerson Royal. In my opinion, I thought he should have got man of the match yesterday. I'm not sure why Ben Davies got man of the match. I thought there were maybe 3 players better than Ben Davies on the pitch yesterday in terms of Emerson, Skipp, and Cuti Romero. But Emerson was absolutely brilliant. 65 touches, 95% passing accuracy, 1 goal, 5 clearances, 7 tackles. I mean, the shift he put in for the team yesterday was absolutely exceptional. And we're starting to see this week in, week out from Emerson Royal. Like you said before, a really nice finish into the far corner. And, you know, the effort he was putting in for the team, like in the latter stages of the game with those sliding tackles, which were absolutely pinpoint. And he was like doing like 2 or 3 in a row at one stage. And it was such a great performance from Emerson Royal. I think you're still having a few reservations about him going forward, or quite a few reservations about him going forward. But he was the one sprinting forward with Ben Davies to score that goal yesterday. And it's mad to me to think, like, when you're looking at 2 of the most least creative players on the pitch in Ben Davies and Emerson Royal, and they were the ones combining for the goal. But Emerson, I mean, he is really batting away those negative comments about him throughout the season, throughout last season, and he's performing admirably well.
Yeah, he's answering the critics. You have to say that. He's been under a lot of criticism for a lot of the season, rightly or wrongly. I think ever since he's come to the club, to be honest, about maybe his clumsy style of play, his lack of ability in the final third, all these different things. But recently, I think defensively he's always been a strong player, and I think ever since he's come to the club he's been quite solid defensively, and I think he's continued that and probably even got better, to be honest. He's probably getting even better defensively even recently. But what is really improving is his ability on the ball, his build-up play, his passing. His final third actions are still... I know he scored a nice goal and it was a good run as well. I don't expect him to be scoring goals like that on a consistent basis, in my opinion. In my opinion, he can get into those positions a lot, and I don't think he's going to be finishing like that more often than not. I think it was a good finish, but credit where credit's due. It was a really composed finish from him. He found the corner, he took it early as well before the keeper got settled, and it was a good finish. So I'm not taking anything away from it, but I do think there are still reservations when it comes to how effective he can be in the final third. But I want to just say something interesting. What I found about Emerson's performance. A lot of people are talking about him yesterday, about how he came centrally into the midfield a lot of the time. Can you bring up the phone? Is that possible? Can we bring up the phone? It's working. So if you look at Emerson's average position, obviously he's mostly in his own half, and he's not so wide. He's a bit central, like quite close to Skipp. But then you look at his heat map, like when he's in the defensive third, he's quite wide. But then when he goes into the attacking third here, he goes very central. And I think what they're trying to do anyway is that when he does get into the attacking third, and if you look at Kulu as well, when he's in the attacking third, he's a lot wider than Emerson. Emerson is a bit more central. So I think what they're doing is, when they get into the attacking third, maybe have Emerson a bit centrally and then Kulu out wide. So Emerson's not in a position where he has to keep crossing the ball, because that's not where his strength is. His strength is doing little passes, short passes in and around where players are near him. So I think he's improving his progressive passing as well. He's doing a lot better finding teammates when he's on the ball in build-up now, which is a big improvement in my opinion. So we're getting Kulu out wider because he's a much better crosser, although his crossing was a bit off yesterday. He's a much better crosser, so you get him in the crossing positions. You get Emerson inside where he's more comfortable, and I think that's maybe leading to much better performances from Emerson, and also not maybe highlighting his weaknesses as much as they were when he's always out wide in the widest position and he's having to put crosses and things like that. So I think that's a good tactical tweak from the coaching staff to do that for Emerson. Maybe the only problem I have with that is I feel like when Kulu is too far out wide, he's a bit less involved, and I think he's more comfortable inside and getting involved in the play, and rather than being stuck out wide and having to beat players and whip crossing the box. I think he likes little passes on the edge of the area and things like that, and shots. So there's a bit of give and take there. Maybe if Porro gets in, Kulu can go back more centrally and Porro goes out wide. But at the moment, I think it's working for the players that we have. I think it's a good tactical tweak.
Yeah, I think so as well. And it's giving us an extra option in midfield when we are attacking. And I think it's getting the best out of Emerson. You can't lie. It is getting the best out of Emerson. I mean, what you say about Kulu, I mean, is this the reason why we're seeing Kulu a bit not at his best at the moment, do you reckon?
I think it's part of the reason. I think because I think a lot of the time he's very far out wide, and he's coming from deep as well, and he's looking to a lot of the time beat players. And Kulusevski he can be quite good in one-on-one situations, but he needs to be close to the players. I feel like when he's running with a lot of space ahead of him, and he's like looking just to burst past the player for pure pace, I think he struggles a bit with that. I think he likes to be close to players so he can use his strength to get past them and use his physicality to do it. So I think he likes it a lot more in the central areas where players are close to him and even defenders are close to him, because then if they try and bump him off, he's got the strength to hold them off, and then he can either go for a shot or go for a little pass into the penalty area and link up with Kane and Son. So I do think it's taking a bit away from him, although I did think he was a lot better in the second half yesterday, more to do with his pressing than I did think to do with his positioning, but I did think he was a lot better in the second half. But I do think it's maybe a bit of the reason why maybe he's not been quite at his best as of late.
Yeah. I think as well, obviously, coming back from injury has something to do with it as well. But in terms of the Richarlison and Sonny debate, I mean, what do you make out of it now? Because like Richarlison, every time he plays, whether it's off the bench or starting a game, albeit he hasn't started too many games, he's just not impacting things too much. And yesterday in the first half, he saw a lot of the ball where some dangerous moments could have occurred, but heavy touches, loose passes. Obviously, he should have won a penalty yesterday where he had it into Kehra's hand. But, I mean, he just kind of always leaves you wanting a bit more, Richarlison.
For sure. I think quality on the ball wise, he was lacking. You got to remember, it's very difficult for him when I think throughout the whole season, this was his 5th start, I think, in the Premier League. Only his 2nd start on the left, on one of his more favoured positions on the left-hand side, and he's only played 90 minutes, I think, twice, I think, this season. So, you know, coming from a team like Everton where you're the star, you're starting week in, week out, you know, you got to find your rhythm and you got to give him consistent game time. And it's difficult now, and Son came off the bench to score, which means it's even less likely he's going to get consistent game time. But I do feel for him a bit that he had that, like, you know, when you're a player like Richarlison, you have to get some sort of rhythm. But he also does need to show a bit more quality on the ball if he's going to stay in the team. I think. I think yesterday he obviously had that chance right at the end of the half where he had a shot on goal when it was saved by the keeper. But I did think he wasn't so involved when we were on the ball. Like he wasn't really showing enough quality to get shots off, take it past people, things like that. But what he does bring is his work off the ball. And like he had 8 ground duels yesterday, which is comparable to some of the centre mids yesterday. So what he does do is he harasses the defenders. He gets in their face. He makes things awkward for them, makes things difficult for them. He tires them out. And I think Stellini even hinted at it after the game, saying that you know, Richarlison was giving the defenders a tough time physically. You know, sometimes he's backing into them, sometimes he's running it behind. He's stretching them a bit. You know, he's making them work physically, and then that's primed for when Son comes on and the game gets stretched, he can make the difference. He can make the killer blow, and that's exactly what happened. So, yes, I want more from Richarlison on the ball, but you got to also remember what he does bring, and you know, a lot. I wouldn't say Son scored because of Richarlison, but I did think he contributed to making it difficult for Kehrer. Then all of a sudden, Son comes on with his searing pace into the space, and Kehrer can lose his concentration for 1 second because he's dealing with the physicality of Richarlison all day, and then Son can make the difference.
Is that like a good tactic then, you think? Maybe
100%.
to start Richarlison, tire them out a bit, wear them down, you know, back into them physically and all that kind of stuff, and then Son to come on and be that live wire and just finish them off? Because that's exactly what happened yesterday, right? As soon as Son came on, you saw that movement in behind from Sonny. Sonny looked electric when he came on yesterday, and I thought it was a really good display. And
happened against Leicester as well. Yeah. Richarlison started.
Yeah.
And then he came on.
Exactly, spot on. So why have we not used that tactic a bit more this season? We've seen it twice this season. Son has been poor for the most part of the season, for the majority of the season, and Richarlison hasn't really got a look in. Why have we not used that tactic a bit more often than we have?
I agree. I've been calling for us to use it a lot more, just for rotation purposes, just so you can use your squad. So you know, you buy a player for 60 million, they should be having, you know, we've played 24 games now. Sorry, we're in I think 24 games. How many starts has he had in the Premier League? But he's had a few.
He had because Kulu was injured.
Right. He had a few instead of Kulu. But how many starts has he had on the up front or on the left? He's had, I think, Leicester. I think he started against Leeds as well when we beat them 4-3, and then this one. So he's had 3 starts in his favoured position.
4-3 was on the right though, wasn't it?
I think he was on the left. I think Son didn't. I think Son might have not played that good because he had his. Oh,
I see.
He had his face injury, didn't he? So I think Kulu started on the left that day. So I think this was his 3rd start from the left-hand side, and I think he should be having a lot more. Considering how many games we've played, he should be playing a lot more in those kind of positions. And even as a tactic, to tire out the opposition and have players like Son to come on, 100% we should be using it a lot more, 100%. And I think I don't know if it's stubbornness or if it's respect for how good Son has been. When you got the golden boot of last season, you just want to, and you know that if he's in on goal, he's going to make the killer blow and make the difference. I'm guessing they just want to keep playing him. You heard what Stellini said yesterday after the game. He said Sonny's one of those players that he only didn't play because he was he wasn't physically 100% yesterday, so he was on the bench. But he said if Son's one of those players where if he was 100% fit, you play him. That's what he said. So from my point of view, that's kind of a bit of a stubborn approach. I guess you could say the same with Kane, though. And Kane, we do play him 100%.
Kane's producing week in, week out every week.
I guess that's the difference. I think it's a bit of a stubbornness. I think we need to be rotating more in those positions. And I think we need to be giving these players more of an opportunity to help them and to help the players coming in and to help the team. So I agree. It's a tactic that has worked twice. So I think we need to be using it more.
What about the Danjuma situation now? Because, I mean, do you think that Danjuma potentially deserves a start against Chelsea? Would you start him?
Danjuma? I mean, I don't think he's anything. Don't think he's done anything to deserve a
not
start per se.
That he's done, but maybe stuff that maybe Sonny and Richarlison have done and not impacted things maybe enough.
Potentially, I think there's a case for it. You could say that Richarlison hasn't really been doing it when he started. Sonny definitely hasn't been doing it when he started. So is it time to give Danjuma a go? But then again, is it harsh to just give Richarlison one start and then drop him immediately? I think we were going to go back to Son immediately. To be honest, I think Stellini said if Son's 100%, he'll play. He played 20 minutes yesterday, or whatever, half an hour was yesterday. He's going to have a week break. He's going to be 100% next week. So I think Son comes straight back in. But I do feel for Danjuma because Mora came on ahead of him yesterday. Yeah. Kane played the 90 minutes. When we know Danjuma he could even play Danjuma up front, or even put Son up front and Danjuma on the left. So I think it's unfortunate he didn't get any game time, but hopefully that will come. We've still got, hopefully anyway, we've got a lot of games left. We've still got 15 games in the Premier League. Hopefully we get through in the FA Cup and Champions League as well. So hopefully there's a lot of football left to be played and a lot of opportunities will come for him. But it was unfortunate yesterday that he wasn't able to get on the pitch.
Yeah, and what I was saying before about the wing-backs, I mean, Ben Davies yesterday got man the match on the game. Obviously a really nice run, square ball to Emerson to set us on our way on our first goal yesterday. I thought with Ben Davies, it was probably the most accomplished left wing-back performance we've seen over the past couple of weeks, where you're looking at Perisic's bad performances, Sessegnon's bad performances as well before he got injured. I thought he took a while to get into the game yesterday, but once he did, I actually thought he played fairly well. But obviously we need better quality still there at the left wing-back. Would you start Ben Davies there next game?
Would I start Ben Davies there next game?
I think he's put in a better performance there than maybe Perisic has the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, potentially. Defensively, he was solid. I actually think Perisic, for example, out of Milan, I don't think he was any worse than what Davies showed yesterday. Davies had 5 crosses, none of them completed yesterday. I thought his crossing was atrocious, in my opinion, when he got forward. He did go on the few times he did get forward. I thought his quality was lacking.
Standard Ben Davies like 7 out of 10.
He was okay. Like I think he was solid. He was maybe a bit better than average. Especially with he obviously made that great one and created the chance for Emerson, so he obviously deserves a lot of credit for that. I think his on the ball build up play is usually quite strong, and it was again. I don't obviously. When you got Ben Davies at wing back, you don't expect him to take anyone on. You don't expect him to be causing constant headaches for their right wing back, who was Soufal. In a battle like that, you just expect him to make sure that Soufal's not getting the better of him defensively, and make sure maybe from a positional kind of point of view and making runs point of view, he makes things awkward for Soufal. But you don't expect him physically to dominate. You don't expect too much quality in the final third, and you just basically expect him, for example. Like if we had Davies at left wing back, maybe when we played City away and we're 2-0 up, we probably don't concede those 3 goals. Whereas Perisic was a calamity that game defensively. But when it comes to in the final third, I'd much rather Perisic there all day long. So next week. To be fair, actually, Perisic had a really bad cameo when he came on as well. I thought he was terrible for those last 10 minutes or whatever it was when he came on. Could have been sent off. I thought it was really bad. But you got to remember, he's also 33. He's played 2 games in a week. It's probably too much for us to ask him for more. But then he's going to have a week break now. So I wasn't that impressed with Longley yesterday. So I envisage actually he's going to put Davies back at left centre back and bring Perisic in.
Thing is with Davies, right? Like. He was so solid defensively yesterday, and it's something that we miss when Perisic is on the pitch, and Perisic just gets beaten way too easily of late anyway. And I don't know, I was kind of feeling more comfortable with Ben Davies' performance yesterday than I have been for Perisic for quite some time now.
I think Perisic runs into trouble when he's playing too much, and because physically, as we said, he's getting old. He's old, not getting old. As a football player, especially as a wing back, he's 34. So it's difficult for him. I think that's, you can't play. Look, we've only got one wing back, and you can't play Perisic every game. Yes, defensively, he's not the best wing back for sure. You can say that again. He's definitely not good. But when he's fully fit and when he's at 100%, he can be like not a liability, as I can say. Basically, that's like the best he can be. He can never be like amazing defensively, but what he can be is basically not be a complete liability like he was against City. City, no coincidence, was a midweek game. There's no coincidence there. When you're playing him too often, he can get overawed. But what happened when we played? He gets a week break and we play Man City. He was good. He played a good game. He out in Milan, he was. I thought he was fairly solid. So he can put in good games, and I just think I would rather a fully fit Perisic at 100% than try and rely on Davis. I would rather put Davis in and only when we need to, but I don't think we need to next week. I think we needed to yesterday because Perisic had played 2 games in a week, and I don't think he could have played a third. But yeah, I think next week we can put Perisic back in, and we've got Emerson on the other side.
True, but he'll come up against very tricky attackers next week in the Chelsea front line, whether it be Mudryk or Madueke or whoever it may be. But let's finish off with Stellini, and we'll just have a quick outlook of the season. 3 games now, 3 wins for Christian Stellini. I don't think he's conceded a goal either, has he? What was the first? No, against Marseille. Marseille he did. But in the Premier League, 1-0 against Man City, 2-0 against West Ham, 2 big games. When he took over the reins for Inter, for Conte as well, it was 3 wins out of 3. What do you make out of this Stellini thing? I know that Conte had a lot more say in the game, and I thought it was fairly funny what he was saying in the press conference after the game, Stellini, about Conte was just texting him throughout the game, and any decision that they made, they ran past Conte, and he was sometimes like, yeah, do it, or wait. So Conte definitely had a big kind of say in the game yesterday. But what is it about Christian Stellini that gets the best out of these players?
I don't know if it is. I mean, look, I think I don't think it's like when I look at yesterday's performance, I think we played well. But I remember I called in the fans yesterday, and I stand by it. I don't think yesterday's performance was much different to what we've seen under Conte when we've played him. Just a lot of times under Conte this season, we've played very similar. But what's happened is we've had massive errors which have cost us, and usually it's the first goal, and then all of a sudden that changes the game. We can see if Bowen scores in the first minute, trust me, it's a different game yesterday than it is. And how many times have we done this? Liverpool at home, Newcastle at home, Villa at home, slow starts where we're not playing well, and then we up our game in the second half. But what was the difference between yesterday and those games is Dyer shoulders it to Salah, who runs through and scores. Lloris comes flying out of his goal and gives the goal to Wilson. Lloris drops a Douglas Luiz long shot and gives it to Buendia. Even the Arsenal game, Lloris drops it into his own net after a cross from Saka, and that goes 1-0, and then we improve in the second half. So it's a very similar pattern to what we've seen in those games. Just yesterday we didn't drop any clangers, and that's the big difference. That's how much of a difference it can be when you keep things solid. You don't drop major defensive errors. You keep that clean sheet, and then your quality can make it pay in the second half. That's what happened yesterday, and that's what could happen. That might have happened in a lot of those games if we didn't drop those clangers. But unfortunately, we did drop those clangers, and then that's cost us.
Yeah, no, I think that's, in terms of analysis, absolutely spot on, because I've been saying it for so long now. Like, if we brought in even just one competent defender in the summer transfer window, or even the January transfer window, you would see like literally half these clangers, and we'd be right up there, fighting for even the biggest honours this year. I genuinely believe that. So it's like, it's such a shame that we didn't bring in that defender, or even 1 or 2 defenders in the summer, because this season could have a whole different outlook on it. But in terms of the outlook of the season, there's been so much doom and gloom around this fan base or surrounding this football club all season. And when you're actually looking at it, right, in the top 4 now, above Newcastle, who, by the way, everyone's been saying has been unbelievable this season, apart from this run that they've been on recently. Everyone's been giving them all the plaudits, and we're above them now in the league. We're into the last 16 of the Champions League, 1-0 down, but it's definitely a tie that we can overturn, that's for sure. Sheffield United, all we need to do is beat Sheffield United and get into the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. I mean, it's not all so bad, is it?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the question is, look, Tottenham, when we finished fourth last season, you want progression, right? You want Spurs to move up a level. And we all thought, maybe a challenge for the title or something, or it could be that. But right now, we're in the top four. We've got a good chance in definitely the FA Cup to go quite far. Champions League, got to see what happens in the second leg, but we've got a good chance of getting to the quarterfinals as well. If we can maintain a fourth position and either win a cup or even go far in both cups, I mean, considering we played one game a week last season, some would argue that is progression. That is something that you go from top four with pretty much playing one game a week and going out early in all the cups to top four, and either you win one or you go really deep into some of the other. I think the important thing is making sure we get the balance right between our league position and the cups. If we need to make sure we're either getting to a semi-final or a final or winning one of those competitions to really mark proper progression. Because if we go out early in both of them, then and still we're only getting top four, then I think that's not real progression. But if we can win a cup and stay in top four, that would be a massive progression in my opinion. Or if we can go to a final and stay in top four as well, that's shown signs of progression. So then all of a sudden it wouldn't be too bad. And I think maybe the job Conte is doing will be looked at a different light. I guess you could always point to the amount of goals conceded, style of play, the problems that we have, and say what kind of and judge Conte on that. But you've got to say that at the moment, the way the season is shaping, there's a lot to play for. We're in a good position. If I said at the beginning of the season in February we'll be top four, we'll still be in the FA Cup and we'll still be in the Champions League, you probably would have taken it. So, there's still a lot to play for. It could still be a really, really great season. And I think that there has been a lot of negativity, a lot to do with how we play. But I think we just got to be along for the ride and see where it can take us, because I think we can still have a very, very good season. And even with injuries and all these kind of things, if we can dig deep and just find that defensive consistency, I think we can still have a very good season. And even if Conte doesn't win a trophy with us this season and gets top four again, like that, considering where we were once Pochettino left, like to get back-to-back top four would be pretty good.
It would be. It'll be a bit of a kick in the teeth if Conte's here for 1.5 seasons and still hasn't won a trophy, because it's definitely within our capabilities this season. When you're looking at the way the FA Cup is shaping up, I mean, we got to go far in this tournament. We have to. We can't have any shit shows like we have done in the last couple of years in the FA Cup and go out to lowerly opposition. But look, I think when you're looking at the outlook of the season, I'm looking at it a lot more positive now than maybe I did a month ago. I kind of maybe let the negativity overtake me a little bit. But I think right now, when you look at it objectively, when you're looking at it and seeing where we are and where we can be this season, I think it's positive in my opinion.
Well, the problem is because the league table's quite tight, a couple of bad results and all of a sudden you find yourself in 6th or 7th and you're thinking, oh God, where are we going? And then a couple of wins, we're in the top 4 and you're like, okay, things aren't looking so bad. So
you look at
because
fixtures,
it's volatile, right? Yeah, the fixtures is positive, because if you actually analyse everyone's fixtures from now to the end of the season, we've already played the hardest out of everyone.
City twice, Arsenal twice.
Yeah, we've played statistically the hardest teams apart from Palace from now since the start of the season, and statistically we have only apart from Palace as well, we have the easiest games to play. So I mean, technically the fixture list is falling in our favour if we can go on a good run now. After Chelsea we have even Chelsea you could argue is a good fixture, but after Chelsea we have a very appetising,
which is a hard game as well, to be fair.
Yeah, I guess with the teams in the bottom half getting new managers, you could say they're all difficult games. But, we definitely have a run of games where you're thinking we could definitely get a lot of points from. So we just got to hopefully start using the squad. People are stepping up now, which maybe you didn't expect. And that's really, really positive. And maybe we can still have a very good second half of the season and see where you can take us.
Yeah, and over the next 4 weeks, you've got teams all in and around us facing each other. I mean, Newcastle, just in their 4 games, they play Man City away and Manchester United at home. So that's obviously points that we can make up against maybe the teams above us, or set some distance between us and Newcastle as well. So look, I think Spurs fans should be positive now. We should all stick together and we should support this team as much as we can from now to the end of the season. Support the manager, support the staff, support everyone, because we can do something this season. We really can. And it didn't feel like that maybe a month ago. But when you're looking at things now, I know we got battered to
Didn't
Leicester
feel like,
last
yeah,
week.
I didn't even feel like a week ago.
Yeah, but even coming out of that Leicester game, yeah, it was very depressing. But still, you look at the table, even after a 4-1 defeat like that, everyone around us dropped points as well. And you're looking at it being like, look, we're still in this. Even if it was such a terrible result. I mean, I took it back to last season, right, when we beat Man City and lost to Burnley. It was exactly the same feeling. I know it wasn't as much of a battering at Burnley as it was at Leicester, but ultimately it was the same feeling, right? And we went on a massive run after that. The fixtures fell in our favour. And I'm thinking it's the same thing now. And if we can just go on that run now, we put on ourselves in a really good place for the last few games of the season, or whatever it may be.
Yeah, the crucial thing is just make sure our defensive stability isn't up and down all the time. You know, conceding 2 goals, keeping a clean sheet. Recently, it's definitely, I think that's so another clean sheet yesterday. So I think that's 6 clean sheets in 8 or something. But we can't just keep doing that and then going away Leicester and concede. We can't keep doing that. We need to find some sort of base and a solidity. Even if it means the football isn't pretty, we just got to make sure we're not conceding goals, because at the moment that's been costing us way too much recently. But if we can do that, if we can get back to that solidity we had last season and the points we've shown, recently, then we can the 4 players we have, we can very, very much be in for a good season, 100%. But it's all about if we can just keep that consistency.
Yeah, the one team going under the radar a bit at the moment is Liverpool, because they got 2 games in hand on us, and if they do win those, I think they go within 1 point of us. That's going to be the big battle, I think, in my opinion. I think Liverpool potentially finish above Newcastle this season. Whether they finish above us remains to be seen, but we'll see about that. But look, that's our match review for the game against West Ham. A nice, a long one for you guys to get your teeth into. Let's get into Twitter Reacts. Can you get Twitter up? Because I went through a lot of posts yesterday, and I thought there was some good content doing the rounds on Twitter yesterday.
Did you like some?
Yeah. If you go onto our like post, there's quite a lot there. So let's go and see how Twitter did react to the game yesterday.
Try now.
All right, we're just going to the beginning, guys, and then we'll get through them. There is quite a bit.
There is. Okay, it's still going. Probably stop before here, right? Before? Still more?
Still more. Yeah, I think you've gone too far now.
Yeah, 1 sec.
That's Milan.
We've gone back to Milan. Harvey White apparently had a great game yesterday.
I heard about that. Harvey White for Derby. Was that his debut?
I'm not sure if it was his debut. Apparently he had a great game. They've been waxing lyrical. Anyway, this was the Spurs fans in the concourse yesterday after the game. I don't know why. Whenever we beat West Ham at home in this new stadium, this brings out a party.
Yeah, and it was the same for Arsenal, right? I think it's just any big game, and I think you'll see the same if we beat Chelsea on the weekend.
I don't know. Was it like, for example, like City? I don't know. I don't know if it was the same or not.
I think it's just a big derby, isn't it?
Yeah, you get a derby at home, and I tell you, when as much as like the stadium sometimes when things are bad and stuff, it can seem soulless and whatever. But when things are good and like you're having a big win, or the fans are loud, and yesterday when everyone's congregating in the like that. Then it's bouncing, and then it's like it can really be a really good experience. That new stadium.
I think like for the most part the game was fairly quiet yesterday, with Spurs fans and West Ham fans not really being loud enough during the game. But as soon as the last 10 minutes came and we like kind of knew we were going to win, the atmosphere started getting better, and then obviously this in the concourse was absolutely brilliant.
Absolutely fantastic. Absolutely love seeing it. Yeah, that was Kane receiving his award before the game. What an unbelievable achievement it is for him.
With Ledley King and Jimmy Greaves' wife. Brilliant
Unbelievable.
stuff.
So proud of him. It's such a great achievement. You see how much it means to him as well. He's like means a lot to him. There's him with his kids as well.
Bit of a drought since that goal at City though.
Yeah, he got an assist yesterday though. It's all right. And that gets another one to notch on the Kane-Son combination as well.
That's true. 45 now, I think it is. Is that right?
Yeah, 45. Oh, unbelievable. And Son, by the way, not to mention, he became our second highest ever goal scorer in the Premier League. Unbelievable achievement.
I know, and I was looking at it.
You think about Robbie Keane and Defoe. He's got more than all of them.
I know, and I was looking at it a few weeks ago, and I think he's like 5th or 6th now, top goal scorer of this club's history.
Mad. Considering he's played a lot of the game, on the wing and stuff. It's such an incredible achievement from Sonny. Obviously, Spurs had to put out a statement yesterday, which we about the abuse Son received online, which we absolutely condemn. Absolutely disgusting. Some of the comments that were left for Sonny by a lot of opposition fans, and obviously we stand with Sonny,
of course.
There's Tim Winstone. We saw him in
Big up, Tim. Come on.
You know him from Spurs song sheets. Big up to him. He was in the ground yesterday, and we got some pictures with him. This was brilliant. This was one of the best.
Mr. West Ham, Mr. West Ham.
What is that?
I was cracking up at this yesterday.
That is not Photoshop.
Mark Noble
that is not
absolutely done yesterday, and I've liked the video of it as well, so you can play that. But it was on this guy.
Is it this one
story?
No, what's this? West Ham fans pushing each other.
Yeah, these were some West Ham fans getting in fights with each other yesterday.
This is something else. West Ham fans having a bit of an argy-bargy with each other.
They're all arguing with each other.
You would be if you're in a relegation battle, wouldn't you?
I didn't actually realise, when I got home, we actually put West Ham in the relegation zone yesterday.
They're in the 18th now.
It was like perfect day yesterday. Spurs going to the top 4, West Ham going to the relegation zone. Happy days.
Emerson, that's a great picture, I have to say. Emerson, look at that. Absolutely brilliant. Fantastic. Rice just seemed a bit subdued yesterday. I have to say, for example, that moment where, right at the beginning of the second half, where Kulu pickpockets him. That is not Rice on top of his game. That doesn't happen to him.
Yeah, what was that thing that happened with him and Højbjerg, though? Apparently he kept going, I don't like you, I don't like you.
No, he said no one likes you.
He
said no one likes you. I don't know, they were just getting in a bit of a... He was just getting pissed off, Rice. Stellini, there you go, 3 games, 3 wins, 5 goals, 2 clean sheets. What a man. And you saw him on that passion of him on the crowd as well, on the sidelines as well. He's really filling in for Conte admirably, I have to say.
Absolutely.
Great performance yesterday from Emerson. Look at that. The stats speak for themselves. 7 tackles. Yeah. Wow, that's impressive.
I think probably about 3 or 4 of them were in the last few minutes.
Yeah, he made one. Well, he made like 3 in one action. I remember. Yeah. Like he's been doing that a lot recently. Those kind of aggressive actions and getting us on the front foot. Really good. That was the penalty, which don't know how that wasn't a penalty.
He's literally leaning down to handball it.
Yeah, and he swipes it away. I don't understand. I don't understand how that wasn't given. I don't know if they show it in this clip that Romero gives him a big kick. No, it wasn't this one. It wasn't this one.
I love Romero though. Even in a celebration, going up to congratulate his teammate, he's so aggressive.
Yeah, it must have been before this, but he went up to Emerson and just gave him a massive kick just after he scored. It could have injured him. It was brilliant. There's Kane and Son. 45. They're streaming ahead now. 9 goals clear of Drogba and Lampard for combinations. There it is, yeah. If you see here, Romero, this is just after Emerson scored. If you watch Romero, he just gives him a kick right here. I think here. Wait. Bam.
It's not the first time he's done that as well.
Unbelievable. Absolutely love Romero.
Yeah, brilliant.
He loves getting involved in the celebration.
Sensational.
And it's such a great moment for Emerson as well, because everyone's been acknowledging how well he's been playing, but for him to get on the score sheet like he did and open the scoring as well, it's just such great
2 goals reward since the World Cup's finished. 2
in the last 5 because he scored away at City as well. So he's definitely getting those positions where he can make the difference, which is good.
I think this tactical tweak of moving him into the centre when we're attacking is really done in the world of good.
Yeah, to just make sure he doesn't highlight his weaknesses.
Oh, this is the video for Noble.
I don't know if you can hear it, but this is some guy sitting next to... Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. How have they got that on him?
So this guy recording, he's like the owner of Maddox nightclub or something. I think he might have taken Noble to the game in a box or something, and he must have pinned it on his shirt or something, on his jacket without him knowing or something.
Oh, how has Noble not realised? Absolutely amazing. He's just clueless.
Oh right, they can hear it.
They can hear it.
Yeah, it's very loud though apparently.
Oh, it's very loud. Sorry. What did Noble realise at some point? Here, no.
He just didn't want to see him recording him, I think.
Oh, really? He didn't want him recording. But he invited him to the game. I don't know. Did he see it? Did he spot it?
I don't know if he spotted it or not. I don't know when he spotted it, but it was just hilarious.
Oh, that's absolutely brilliant. Absolutely fantastic.
This was a nice wholesome moment after the game with Sonny and Ben Davis.
He said, well deserved, my best friend.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic.
But let's talk about that Ben Davis man of the match for a second. Like, why did he get man of the match?
I don't know. For the assist, maybe? I'm not really sure. I didn't.
But surely, like, Emerson, Romero, and Skipp were all much better than Ben Davis yesterday.
That's what I thought. I didn't think it was bad. I did think
a nice 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I did think his crossing was terrible, but I didn't think he was bad overall. But you'd be made sure if we didn't win yesterday, for sure he would have come up with more criticism for that final ball. But I thought he played decent. I thought he played solid, and he just made sure that we were defensively solid and didn't concede anything, and that was good. And I think going forward he was okay, but like in build up. But I don't think in the final third he was very good. Rob Howard said, I'm so sick of comparing Emerson to Messi. Can we just enjoy them both?
I love that tweet. It was brilliant. Rob Howard was coming out with a few of them yesterday. Absolutely brilliant stuff.
There was Sonny throwing an aeroplane back into the crowd yesterday.
That was so funny yesterday with all the aeroplanes and the
rubber bands flicking at Fabianski.
Fabianski was getting just like rubber bands all day long, and it was just like... This happens every time Spurs do a like a tifo thing in the South Stand. They just do it with the rubber bands. And last time it was Ramsdale that got it. This time it was Fabianski that got it. It's so funny.
Absolutely brilliant. There's Son and Kuti after the game. You love to see it, as always. Absolutely fantastic.
Love that bromance.
More action of the crowd with some pyros in the crowd yesterday.
Yeah.
Well, it was in the stadium.
They got rid of that really quickly.
Yeah, the bucket. They got the bucket that I got to sort that out very quickly. But it was really good after the game yesterday. Top atmosphere. Everyone was loving the win.
Yeah.
It was great stuff.
Absolutely. Always good to beat West Ham.
The only thing massive about West Ham is their love for Spurs. There's Antonio, because he had to wear a shirt because he lost a bet or something. There's Rice giving Winks a hug. And there's Mark Noble,
Mr. West Ham,
wearing the Spurs pin. Unbelievable. There's Billy Kens, good old Billy.
Look at
one
that
of
flag
our own.
he had. Brilliant flag, massive one as well.
Solid. That is nice. What else is here? This one's not loading. There's Kane with his boot.
Oh no, gone.
There's Kane and you gotta love watching Son smile like that. There's no many things more enjoyable.
I just want to see him kick on now. Come on, it's time.
Hopefully, we say it after he scores every time.
I know.
But it's no surprise he's scored 4 times the amount of goals off the bench, and he has sighing this season. Look at that for Charlison and Emerson. Absolutely fantastic. Love that passion. They did the chicken
dance when Emerson scored as well.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
Pigeon dance, I mean.
Harry Kane. So this was comparing because everyone was going because Osimhen scored yesterday. So he reached 100 goals in 197 games and took Kane only 141. So he blew all those players out the water. Alex Mitten says, I think that's an incredibly interesting similarity between Emerson and Sissoko. Both had really tough first season, lost support of the fans. Second season, they work hard, improve and become a fan favourite. Maybe Emerson can help Spurs get to a UCL final. Oh, that would be nice.
Can you imagine?
That would be nice. I wouldn't mind that. I saw this fan. That was absolutely brilliant. Had on his phone.
It said like, Son, you are a Spurs legend.
Yeah,
or
you're a
something
Tottenham
like
legend. Absolutely fantastic. Great to be picked up on. It must have been a great moment for him. That's one not sure. Oh, there's Kulusevski running into the camera. Fantastic. Poor guy. Oh. Stellini says Conte sent some texts to the bench and they were transferred to me. He is good. He is fine. He can be involved in the games. That's fine. Sometimes I want to do things, and I ask him. And he allows me and Ryan. Sometimes he tells us to wait. So it sounds like Stellini, Conte was still very much in control of things yesterday.
Yeah, do you reckon Conte is just like even telling Stellini what to shout at the players and stuff like that? Just micromanaging every single facet of the game yesterday.
I'm surprised it wasn't like a constant line, just an open line of communication with Stellini there. Expressions and Holly on Match of the Day yesterday. Big up to them. Big up to them. The massive moment for them was pretty cool. Being on a Match of the Day, I was watching. I was like, "What?" I couldn't believe it. I was like, "Couldn't." It was unbelievable. So fair play to them. Charlie Parrish says, looking forward to Spurs hopefully unlocking Richarlison. He's only started 5 Premier League games, just 3 from his usual left forward position, and he's only completed 90 minutes once. I feel like Spurs usually look better with him in the team, and he needs rhythm. So Richie starting, Sonny super sub. Feels. I'm trying to think of the games he has started. So Leicester at home.
Leeds at home.
Leeds at home, and then yesterday we were
Fulham at home. He was on the right though that day.
So I'm saying when he started on the left. So we were 3-2 up when Sonny came on. When he went off against Leicester, and then against Leeds, I think he played 90 minutes. We won 4-3. And then against yesterday, we were 1-0 up when Sonny came on. So I don't know. Is it fair to say we look better with him in the team?
With Richarlison in the team.
That's what he's trying to say. He says, I feel like we look better with Richarlison in the team.
I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't say so at all. I just think...
Although we haven't lost many. I'm trying to think. Because Marseille we won. Fulham we won. Leeds we won. Leicester we won. And yesterday we won.
Yeah, we have won all those games. But I don't know if we look... I mean, we've also won a lot of games where Sonny's been playing and Richarlison haven't been playing. So, I don't know. I think I want to see a bigger sample size than just that, to be fair.
Yeah, it's probably a bit of a stretch to say we look better. Ben... won £50. Here's his penalties that he was scored against Barnaby. Remember Barnaby from Spurred On? Well, Ben was put to a challenge, score 5 penalties to win £50. And did he slot all 5? Or he slotted the 3rd one down the middle?
Sign me up.
Slotted the 4th one down the middle.
Up.
Did he get the 5th one? Did he get the £50? Oh, you bet he did.
Come on, sign me up. Better penalty ratio than Harry Kane. 100% record.
100% penalties for Ben.
Go and follow Football Penalty Gamble on Instagram. Absolutely brilliant stuff he's doing there, Barnaby.
There you go. Absolutely fantastic stuff there. What else is there? So I think that's it. Oh,
yeah,
we
that's
through
it.
that. Oh,
that's
there
it.
you go.
All right.
So and Football Pictures That Go Hard is a great picture. Football Pictures That Go Hard. That was what Spurs tweeted this morning.
Lovely.
That is a great picture. Son with the crowd behind him. Fantastic
stuff. Absolutely lovely. But look.
Zoom in some faces. Look at that. Absolutely brilliant. Oh, look at the joy. Look at this guy. Oh, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Fantastic stuff. Oh, look at that. That is fantastic. All right. All good.
Big up. All right, so there you have it. That is how Twitter reacted to the 2-0 win against West Ham in the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium yesterday. But now it's time to get you guys on to have your say. And let's start off with Elias, Step Up Spurs.
Hi guys, good to see you all today.
Oh, I can't hear him. Is it unplugged? 1 sec, Elias.
Okay.
1 sec.
Am I having a problem?
No? I can hear you, Elias. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. How are you guys doing after the game yesterday? I mean,
Look, at the end of the day, it's always great to get one over your rivals. West Ham, I mean, look, it was the quietest I've ever heard West Ham fans in our stadium, ever. To be honest, we put them into we put them into the relegation zone. We put ourselves into the top 4. So you got to say it's a good day all round yesterday, Elias. How did you assess the game yesterday?
I think it was a positive game. Like I think even the first half we were just off for like the first 5 to 10 minutes, and since then I think the possession-wise, pass accuracy, and all the stats were in our favor as well. Till the second half, I mean, we had a good chance actually towards just the end of first half when Kane gave the long pass to Richarlison to even score. I think it was a lot of positives to draw from. Although yes, West Ham has been having a very poor season and they are not that great at the moment, but still it's a lot of positives to draw from because currently we have been dealing with injuries. Like if you look at it, I think that on the paper their midfield was stronger than our midfield. And some of that stuff. So to pull out a victory in a game like that is always such a joy to watch. And I mean, where are all the Sunny haters, by the way? I'm looking for some of them.
Yeah, you had a lot to say, Elias, before the game about playing Richarlison, starting him. You weren't interested in starting him in this game. You wanted to persist with Sonny. I guess, look, how do you think that panned out in terms of, do you think that Sonny... Do you think it was? Were people proved right? Was Sonny coming on to score that Richarlison should have started, or were people proved wrong? The fact that Sonny came on and scored.
I think people proved wrong.
Wrong.
I know you two were also in the favor that yeah we should try a bit of rotation there.
But do you not think? Sorry,
Yeah,
just quickly before you answer, do you not think it helped the fact that he came on as a sub? Like, do you not think it helped him in a bit that coming on against tired legs and he can make the difference that way?
I think he definitely helped it, but I won't necessarily say that it's something that we should be doing it for every single game. Because currently the problem that I'm kind of having with a lot of fans is that they want him to be on the bench and be an impact sub. I don't think that if I mean those who play football, and I mean if you are someone who understand tactics, you'll know that actually when you start a game, you play your best team on the paper first. You start with that, and then only you go in, because anything can happen in between, like the first 60 minutes or just the first 15 minutes. Anything can happen, and Sunny does give us that quality on the ball and off the ball, where he can actually prevent a lot of damage as well. Lately, actually, I know that lately he has been poor if you look at the overall kind of run. But now, if I was just looking at it earlier on in the since January, if you look at his record, like after every alternate game he has played, like one cup game, one league game, he has been actually giving us quite good positive results since the start of 2023. It has not been that bad overall. Like we play one cup game, or overall when he hasn't been scoring is when on the days when the whole team has been poor. It's not just him. So I guess he's getting a bit too harsh judgments. I feel from our fan base as well, like and then I think it's definitely not a good thing to see that the kind of abuse he has gotten from the West Ham fans also. But I think some of that actually even started in our fan base. But again, it's if it from the footballing side of things, he's still our best one of the best forwards that we have after Kane, and then he proved it yesterday when he's now the outright second top goal scorer in the Premier League era. So he deserves some respect there. I feel like he's not an impact sub. You don't play a player like Sonny as a sub, I suppose. I know we are considering it now even for the future game as well. If you want to rotate him for, let's say, you're playing a lower tier side, or you're playing like a cup game, yeah, then it makes sense when you have a lot of games to play on a single game week. It makes sense, but not on occasions when you're playing West Ham, who have been great, or who always turn up when they are against you. If you're playing someone like Bournemouth or those sides, then it makes sense. Well, West Ham
Talk,
have been in bottom of the table as well, though. Yeah.
Talking of players that may be getting criticised in Emerson Royale, I mean, what's happened to him recently? The little tactical switch of bringing him into the midfield in the attacking phases. I mean, gets his goal yesterday, scored a couple of weeks ago at Man City. I mean, how much praise are you willing to give Emerson Royale at the moment?
Look, I mean, somebody was just saying that, oh, now I think fans should be loving Emerson. I don't necessarily love Emerson still, but I'll give him the credit where it's due. And I feel that, yes, if he is performing well at the moment for us, keep him in the starting lineup. Like as long as he's performing well, keep him in there. Give Porro some chances, like, but still give Porro some chances as well, like coming off as a sub in the 60th minute to 65th minute, because so that Porro keeps on going as well, and we can see as well the difference between the two. So if Emerson is performing well, I think keep him in the team at the moment. Like I stand corrected on that, because yesterday when I did my predicted 11 on my channel, I was saying that yeah, we shouldn't have actually started Emerson. I was a bit critical about that particular decision, but as the game progressed, I think I'm seeing a lot of positives from Emerson at the moment. Like he has improved quite a lot, and I think since Pedro Porra is coming, I guess it has given him that motivation to go an extra mile in the training and go an extra mile even now on the pitch as well. So it's always good to see. I mean, it's a joy to see your average players also stepping up.
Yeah, definitely. In terms of like the overall performance yesterday, like again, Stellini was in charge. He had full control, and we ended up with another win. Is it helping the team having him here, and maybe Conte just like on the periphery for the time being, or do you not see much of a difference?
You say full control, you mean micromanaged full control?
Yeah, kind of.
I won't call it necessarily micromanaging. I think this is something that micromanaging is kind of like something that I don't think at that level, when you have a relationship with someone like Stellini, you kind of play with him for a longer run. I think it's more like being I think it's more like being hands-on rather than micromanaged. Like you just make sure that yeah, they're fine. If they need you, you're there for them. Micromanaging is like you tell everything, because I was looking closely at Stellini's interview as well. He did say that yes, he did give him the liberty to make his choices, and but at times he asked him to be a bit patient. And I think from the gesture, it sounds more like being a hands-on manager rather than a micromanager
Fair enough.
to me. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair enough. So you think obviously Stellini's doing a great job. 3 wins out of 3, 2 clean sheets in the Premier League, and we were a lot of fans were questioning the decision maybe to start Skipp over Pape Matar yesterday. Do you think that obviously that decision was vindicated after the performance that Skipp had yesterday?
I think it was a decent choice given that Skip played. Although I was expecting Sar to play, because I like Sar on and off the ball. Though he's just more calm and he's much more composed compared to Skip. Sometimes I find Skip a little bit too clumsy in his tackles, or the kind of mistakes, the ambitious mistakes that he makes, like the one that he made yesterday at the beginning of the first half as well. I was like, yeah, now he's on a yellow. How is he gonna do it for the rest of the game in the central midfield position when you have to defend? I was a bit concerned there, but he looked much better since that particular yellow, and I think it kind of cautioned him perhaps. So maybe he should be the one getting an early yellow and then not do stupid things for the later on in the game. But again, Sar is a much more composed player. On the contrary, I would love to see more of Sar in the coming games as well. But I think Skip has been returning to his form as well, like as you pointed out rightly. I can see a lot of that sort of Skip returning that we used to see under Nuno or under the earlier days of Conte. And it's good that he has turned up at this kind of time, like when we don't have Ben Jankur, and you do need him to step up, and he's stepping up.
And finally, let's talk about the outlook of the season now, because there's been a lot of negativity surrounding Tottenham for the most part of the season. In the top 4, in the last 16 of the Champions League, with a 1-0 deficit to overturn against the poor Milan side, and into the quarterfinals if we can beat Sheffield United of the FA Cup. So how are you looking at the season now? Is there reason to be positive now?
I think there are certain reasons to be positive. I would say that FA Cup, if let's say we can reach the quarterfinals, and we get a good draw there, and you can avoid like a team like maybe Man City, or even I would say Manchester United in the FA Cup, in at least until like semis, there's a good chance that actually we can win FA Cup. I won't deny that. I am quite positive about that. However, I think still that situation is not good enough. I mean, we need to see as well that in this kind of situation, if this manager can actually take this team to that level, he's still on the 4th position. That just shows you the quality of what kind of manager Antonio Conte is. Like, I still don't understand why people want him gone, some of them, and why some of us have been asking for a back 4 and that sort of thing, or a mid 5. Like it's a back 3, and most of the season we have played actually 4 in the middle instead of 5, and we are actually still at 4th with the massive amount of injuries that we had and the circumstances that we have dealt with. So there's a lot of positivity to take on as well, but also I think we can't just disrespect our opponents or disrespect the kind of scenarios that may come ahead of us as well. One more injury or one poor draw, like let's say you get drawn against a team like Manchester City in the quarters, or one of the big 6 teams in the quarters of FA Cup, it can actually still ruin your season. Like you get out of FA Cup, it can be a big downfall on your confidence as well. So, but still, I think I'm pretty confident. I'm not very optimistic. I'm a little confident that yes, this season can get better. I think we may be able to finish in top 4, given where we are right now. If we and yeah, like you were just now pointing out as well, the kind of fixtures that we have in our hand as well after this Chelsea, even this Chelsea fixture is not that tough. And I think going into this season, if we can really capitalize and focus, stay focused, and gel with each other in the squad, I think this season can go in our favor.
All right, Elias.
Come on, Elias.
Thanks for coming on today, my friend. Do you want to let people know where they can find you?
Yep, so you all can find me at Step Up Spurs. It's a new channel that I just started like about 3 weeks ago, and now I'm just short of like 7, 8 subscribers from 100. So if you
Oh,
all can
nice.
just go to Step Up Spurs, and then hit a subscribe button. And I do usually some videos with fans from different parts of the world. So there's some to hear from them, like how their fan base is doing in their country and what kind of watch-alongs they do in there and stuff like that. So I hear from different people, and make sure you hit the subscribe button if you would like to catch on some of that. Yeah.
All right,
big ups
brilliant.
to you, mate.
Go over and check
Thanks,
up
guys.
Step Up Spurs on YouTube. But thanks for coming on, Elias.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on.
Let's keep going, guys. Let's keep going. And look who we have now. It is the man, Brian Daigle. We were together at the game yesterday, as you probably would have seen on the vlog. Brian, how are you feeling on this lovely, lovely morning or afternoon, whichever way you want to call it?
I'm doing very, very good, my brothers. I had to get up very early and do a couple of things, and the birds were singing, the sky was blue, and the sun was shining. It's fantastic when we get a win, isn't it?
It really is. And I mean, we'll get into the game in a sec, but are you maybe having a bit of a different outlook on the season at the moment?
Say again, Ben?
Can you not hear me?
Hello? Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Hey, yeah, no, you can hear us.
I'll sign out and come back. I'll sign out and come back in.
I think there's a bit of a lag there. Yeah, sign out and come back. Do we have anyone else? All right, let's bring on KPV while we're waiting.
KPV! Oh, is he gone?
Can you hear us, KPV?
I don't know if he's
He's
there.
frozen,
He's
I think.
frozen, yeah.
All right, another one bites the dust.
Don't.
It says good connection, but Ash, Matt, and Michael left as well.
Is there no one else? All right, we'll wait for Brian to come back on. I don't know what's going on. I mean, it seems fine on everything our end, but say again?
It says excellent connection.
Yeah, I know. Is Brian reconnected?
Joy's just come.
Ah, the Joracle has joined.
Let's get the Joracle on.
The sun is shining. The weather is sweet. Let's get
All right.
Jory on.
Let's get him on.
We'll go for Jory, then we'll get Brian on when he does come back. But the Joracle is with us. How you doing, Jory?
Oh, he's on mute. There you
There
go.
you
I'm
go,
not-
Jory.
I'm not muted, at least. You guys.
Now we
know
can
me.
hear you now.
Okay.
How you feeling today, bro?
I'm feeling okay. I'm not overly joyous or anything, even though I'm happy about the victory. You never know with West Ham. I kind of feel like, and also happy with Emerson. I won money on him yesterday, so
Oh,
What,
yeah,
you backed him to score, did you?
yeah, I put him down to score first. So
Amazing.
Oh, congratulations.
What were the odds on that?
19-1.
Wow. Wow, brilliant. Absolutely. I think you
I
might need
didn't
to give
put
us some
much
tips
on
next
him, but-
time.
Yeah, I didn't. Well, I use every time I try to do this, but I had a feeling with Emerson. I think the feeling was actually what was confirmed in that game is the cutting in is like making him a lot more dangerous. He's actually more playing a finisher's role than a assister now in the final third. Which is. Should at least give the defenses more to think about and more to work with, more work to do, and hence more space maybe for Kane and our other attackers. So, yeah. But overall, I was pretty happy. Yeah.
You mentioned before, Jory, that maybe you're not as joyous as maybe some other fans this morning. Why is that?
Well, I think I'm not. I don't think the Conte situation is looking great right now. I don't think he's like I think Brian said he thinks he's not coming back, and I can see how you would think that. It's tempting to go that way. I don't think it's like that. I think Conte is gonna try and come back. But what I also do think is like this situation now, which I do think is a genuine situation, is now also a nice cover in case Levy and Conte decide to kind of bow out without making a fuss about it. That's the last thing I want to see as a fan. I want Conte to go out with a big fuss if he's going out.
Oh, we lost him.
What is going on?
Just did a speed test.
Oh, he's back.
Oh,
he's back. He's back.
1 second, Jory.
We just lost
Yeah.
you for a sec.
Yeah,
Oh,
you're back. Sorry, you can carry on. You can carry on.
Or where did I drop out, guys?
You dropped out just like a minute ago, literally. I mean, we heard pretty much everything you said, I think.
Okay. But anyway, no, I was gonna say I think the Italian situation is still in the balance, and that's really my big hopes is around that. You know, to be honest, with the whole top four.
Oh, we got. Yeah, we're down.
We're back up.
All right,
Don't need to click this down.
we're back. Yeah, I think no, the whole stream went down. I think we're back now.
Stream light is flashing.
I think we're live.
Yeah, bring Jory back on.
Yeah, it says excellent connection.
Go on.
Yeah. All
Yeah,
right,
it's,
Jory. Yeah, I think you're
Yeah.
back. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, all good. All right. So where were we? And let me ask you this, Jory. Let me ask you this, Jory. In terms of, so we're talking about Conte and stuff, and there's been a lot of negativity this season, but are we still in a position where we could see real progression from last season if we do get top four and even go far in the cups or win a trophy, which is still open right now? Would that signal progression for you, or would that not be enough?
No, I mean it is progression, and I was never really worried. Like when we lost to Leicester and stuff, I didn't lose my head over the points lost or anything. I realized that, you know, the teams around us are not gonna be clinical and utilize every point, every chance they get to get points and stuff like that. So we're like, and we should maybe rejoice in terms of the league is a little bit back into like it's a real competition once again, you know. So that's good, you know. But like my whole thing is just the worry about the Italian situation. I do think we're progressing in terms.
Oh, has he cut out again?
It says excellent connection.
I think.
Hello.
Yeah, you're back up again. You're back up again. Sorry, it keeps for some reason it just keeps cutting out.
I think my connection seems fine, guys. So I don't know why it's happening.
Okay, we'll keep going. If it drops out again, I guess
Okay.
we'll just have to move on.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say like I'm not worried about the. I do think we're progressing with our better players and what a lot of people called our worst player, which I never agreed with, which is Emerson. I still feel it's I'm kind of mostly disappointed with Spurs fans once again. You know, they've been hating on this guy too much, and now they can't even give him the due that he deserves for all the hard work he's done. And now people are already pots in, you know, and I can't listen. After Champions League and even maybe before that, the football didn't look good. It looked awful, and that's because of these players. It's gonna look awful with these players no matter what, you know. So I do think you know we will hopefully continue to get, you know, these overachieving performances like Ben Davies yesterday. I don't think Emerson's not overachieving in my view. He's progressing, and Emerson's going to become, if he continues in this environment that he is in now, he's going to become probably our first choice wing back for most stuff, even with Poro. And one of the better in the league. You know, laugh all you want, but he's already kind of the last couple of performances he's showing that. The thing that I feel with Emerson is true that his crosses are not reliable enough. But what's even worse is like Perisic's crosses are great. Our biggest problem with the crosses, am I out?
No, you're still there, still there. Oh no, you are gone.
It's our internet, it's not theirs.
What's going on with it?
Uh,
No, you're still there. You're still there. And you were talking about Perisic.
Yeah, Perisic is, I think the biggest problem with our crosses is the box. Kane is not in the box when we cross. Because he's been part of the build-up play and like so the box is too empty for this crossing game. I don't know how we can fix it really. I really feel like probably cutting inside and not going too much, like cutting down on the crossing game and using our wing backs to overload the inside is maybe a better strategy, and it gave joy yesterday at least. So yeah.
Tell me about what you thought about, Richarlison and Son. The fact that Richarlison started and then Son came on and scored. Does that prove people right? For people who were saying that Son should be on the bench, or does it prove them wrong because he did come on and score? Like, where do you stand on that?
No, I think your theory is very good, Sim. I think the fact that the way Richie kind of works in the front area tires the defenders more than many, and more than many other attackers would. And Sonny benefits from that when he comes on, But I thought I've seen progression with Sonny for the last 2 or 3 games. I've seen its touch get softer and softer. And in Leicester game, I thought he was one of the better in terms of not like Sonny's main problem for me is that we have such a super slow transition. Sonny needs a one-touch transition and be hanging on the shoulder. That's his whole game. If he's not able to hang on the line and cut and break the line with a one-touch transition, then we're losing 80% of what Sonny is world class at my view. Even though he's fairly good football player in other respects.
It's frozen again.
Yeah. Yeah, you're back again. It's our internet. Apologies, sorry. We were talking about Sonny.
No problem. Yeah. No, I was gonna say if Sonny's not hanging on the shoulder and breaking through the line and running in behind, then we're losing what his real value is. That's his world-class game, And because we have these really, really slow transitions and build-ups, he's like the defense is ready, It's structured. It's not a line anymore. It's spread out, So Sonny runs into traffic, So I haven't been too worried about Sonny, and also. In general, I do think the strategy of spreading the goals out is a good one, a formula for success for the whole team. But I do feel like our transitions is like we need this much faster. I really feel it's a big problem.
The transitions.
And you see it, yeah, like the way we, either we're fumbling with the build up or we're too slow to help the midfield out, so we get overloaded or crowded out of the balls. This kind of stuff is not helping us, Whereas when Romero or something darts forward and is an extra guy in midfield, and with the passing abilities that he has, then you see these opportunities arise, So yeah.
I was listening to Arsene Wenger talk about what he feels like the problems are at Tottenham are at the moment. He was on, I think, beIN Sports a week ago or so, and he said the problems he sees at Tottenham is 2 problems. He said problem number 1 is they don't have enough pace in the team to compete at the top level. There's not enough pace in our squad. And problem number 2 is we only know how to play at one pace, and that's fast. We don't know how to slow the game down and play at a slower pace. And when we do that, we struggle. And when the game game is fast and when the game is quick and there's a high tempo, then we're good. But when the game is slower, we struggle a bit. Well, what do you think of those criticisms?
I think it's spot on. I would say, I would caveat that and say we're good once we're from the midfield and forward. We're not good at the back, So I would say exactly, if you don't have pace in your team, you better have some brilliant on-the-ball players that can give some really precise passes and weight the ball correctly and so on, and do long passing. And we have the exact opposite. We have no pace, and we have a lot of players that are not capable of very basic passing on a regular, like under pressure. I would say they're capable if they don't have too much pressure, maybe. So that's definitely the problem. And we've seen them try and work with it. I thought we were playing. I can't remember what game, but it was, I think, maybe Man City or something like. At least one of the successful games recently, we played very big triangles, and big diamonds, and it kind of worked, because the passing was on point in that game, but it doesn't take much pressure to get some of our worst players to miss past the ball. And then we're in huge trouble because we don't have the pace to get back as well, and all of that, So,
All right.
Yeah.
Big up,
Jory.
Sorry
Good to
for
see you,
the
Many interruptions.
connection problems today, but thanks for coming on.
Yeah, no problem, guys. Take care.
See you later,
Big
mate.
up to you, Jory.
Bye.
Let's keep going. Let's see if Brian Daigle's connection, well, our connection actually, let's see if it can handle Brian Daigle.
Nothing can handle Ryan Dale.
Nothing can. Listen, guys, what I will say is I'm now on my phone. My phone has full Wi-Fi service. My tablet that is keeping my phone up has not got full service. So God knows what that means. But yeah, we're all on my phone. We're all good.
So you're just trying to show up our internet, saying your internet's perfect.
No, I'm saying that my phone is saying perfect, but my actual tablet is saying less than perfect, and they're next to each other.
How are you, Brian? You said the birds are tweeting you. You woke up early today. The sun was shining. Spurs beat West Ham to put them in the relegation zone, and Spurs go into the top four. I mean, are you having a bit of a different outlook of this season now?
You want to start here? No. The only reason I'm going to say this, guys, listen, one of the reasons I'm going to keep saying this is I kept saying we weren't going to get top four last year, and we did. So if I keep doing reverse psychology, it may work. But the other thing that I've got to say with this is one game against a very, very poor West Ham team. As I was saying to you, Tim, before we got into the stadium, after Man City, that should have been a kick on to say, here we go. And we put on a shambolic display against Leicester. Arsenal, the filth down the road, go and lose to Manchester City, lose the first position in the league, go to Villa, have to get that job done, go down twice, and still manage to dig out a win. That's the difference at the moment. And at the moment, I don't see that in Tottenham. I wish I could, but that's the problem.
I get that. I completely get that, Brian. But, the remit before the season was top four and a trophy. Are we not on course for that?
Mate, listen, we're in the top four and we're in 2 cups. We can only answer that in May. Listen, we got Chelsea next. We all know what happened with Chelsea. But listen, we're in a better spot than we were yesterday. We're fourth. Let's enjoy it while we can. And put it this way, Ben, if we had no injuries, I'd be singing a different song sheet.
Yeah.
Oh, is he gone again?
God.
Literally just did another upload to us and it's still team.
Daigle, you're back.
Cool. What did we miss?
You said different hymn sheet if we had no injuries.
Oh yeah, if we did have our injuries, I'd be singing a very different song sheet. But with that injury, and if the longer we progress in those 3 cups or these 3 tournaments, should I say, League, Champions League, and FA Cup, obviously, we're going to be asking a lot of regular players to be playing a hell of a lot of minutes because there's no alternative, and that could be our downfall. But like I said, if we were injury free, then I'll be saying something very different.
What positions are worrying you from that standpoint?
Benton Core for a start. Listen, Skip did brilliantly yesterday, and Sarr was brilliant in Milan. And as we spoke before, I've got a lot of. I'm a fan of Skip, and I'm really becoming a big fan of Pape Matar Sarr. But it's a lot to ask for two youngsters to be able to put on those kind of performances for the next 3 months. So that worries me. Our defence is we kept the clean sheet yesterday, didn't we? But it's not the best. And the thing I don't get is why bring in Dan Juma? We brought him in for extra depth and quality, and apparently he was coming in to be Hill and Mora's replacement. Well, Mora's coming on the pitch before him.
Yeah, I didn't really get that as well. But I mean, look, I get your points, but you've got to be happy with the way things are going when you've had so much negativity by the whole fan base surrounding this season. It's not looking so bad.
Ben, that's a different question you just asked. Am I happy we're in the top 4? Of course. I'm absolutely delighted we're in the top 4, and I hope we stay there for the rest of the season. Of course, you got to be happy with that. You got to be happy with we are fourth. You got to be happy that we're still in Europe in the cup. But you're asking me, do I think we're gonna finish there? And due to the injuries, I just don't think we will. But like I said, reverse psychology. I said this last season, and we got it.
So you actually do think so, because you're doing the whole reverse, the wassa wassa.
Well, no, I still don't, like I did last time. So we should wait and see. Listen, I've told you, Ben, what I do now is I fear the worst, so that when the better things happen, I can be happy, rather than when I get excited and then the negative happens, I get blooming irate.
Yeah.
Brian, let me ask you this. The fact that Son was... a lot of people calling for Son to be dropped/rested for this game. The fact that he came off the bench and scored, does that prove people right or wrong that he shouldn't have been playing?
I will put it this way. Do I think he should be on the bench for Chelsea? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. So the only reason I say that is every single time he's done this, now we crack on, now we do this, now... We're putting so much pressure on him, and he's getting. You got to think about him as well. He knows how the supporters, not just of our team, everyone has been talking about the changing him from this season to last season. We got to get his confidence back. We got to get his fitness sharp, and using him as an impact sub, he is devastated. And if that's what it takes to get him back to where he is, if he's back on form, we all know he walks into that team. Absolutely walks in. But right now, I don't think his form has warranted. Yes, he's got his goal and the Kane and Son partnership strikes again. But I think he needs to have a couple more games off the bench. Let him rejuvenate a bit. Let him come on and make an impact. Get a bit of a buzz about him and belief a bit in him again. And then let him go and tear up the rest of the season.
Do you think that we stick with Richarlison, or would you like to see Dan Juma given a go?
We were talking yesterday. I like Richarlison. I think it's very harsh that people are saying after one game, "Oh my God, he's a waste of money. Oh my God, he doesn't look right." We've got to give him. You can't just do that with one game. We've got to give him time. And he's better on the left than he is the right. But I think we all know in Brazil he plays in the centre, and that seems to be his ideal position. But we know he's not getting there for obvious reasons. So we've got this time to give him a bit of game time. Dan Juma, I don't know if it's got. I mean, Kulusevski got better in the second half, but he still wasn't great yesterday, was he?
Yeah, I think he was a lot better in that second half. You saw the creativity coming back into him. You saw him pressing high up the pitch and nicking the ball high up the pitch as well. So I do think it was a lot better in that second half from Kulu.
Yeah, well, let's face it, it couldn't get worse, could it? He was just. We were talking and we were saying it looked like when he was running forward and trying to take it across or take on a player, Kulusevski just did it like that last season and the beginning of this season. He just seems to have that doubt in him or that lack of confidence right now where he's just taking that extra step or that split second to do it and then the moment's gone. And that's what happened. Listen, I personally think he's been rushed back from injury with Tottenham like we do with a lot of players. There's no doubt in that guy's class. He's absolutely simply incredible and devastating on his day. But I just think he needs to get a bit of sharpness back.
Fair enough.
I hear that. When it comes to Emerson Royale, he's been coming for a lot of praise after his performance yesterday. For you, do you see Porro getting in the team anytime soon, or do you think Emerson now has the shirt for a bit?
Simeon, I've discussed this with you before as well. I'm one of those old school people that believe once you've got the shirt, it's your job to try and maintain it, and your form keeps it. And there is no doubt he deserves it. And listen, I even put a tweet out as well saying, do you know what? I'm someone that has given him a barrage of abuse. And as I said, when I'm wrong, I'll say I'm wrong. And right now, he deserves a hell of a lot of credit. It's not just, he just seems so at ease right now. He's like literally conducting stuff and telling people to calm down, hold up, wait, and do all this stuff. This outstep of the foot pass he's got, he took his goal fantastically, and he has played very, very well, and he deserves the shirt. And let's face it, Porro's first game, right, it's his debut, that was a shit show. And he needs to put in, he needs to try and get the shirt off Emerson, but Emerson right now totally deserves it.
Yeah, no, he really does. So when's Porro going to get into this team, Brian?
Mate, I don't know. All I know is all the songs we were singing at the end with Royale's on fire. He deserves it. He deserves this moment. I mean, you think about it, when he got substituted and people started clapping him, and he didn't realise that it was for him to go off. And obviously, that wasn't nice for any player. You don't want to see that. He should enjoy this moment. He should enjoy this moment and carry on. It's been since the Fulham game, so near the end of the window, he's played a kind of inverted right wing back, if that makes any sense, and he is thriving in it. There's no. Listen, we all know attacking wise, his crosses are yet to be on point, and that's been an issue with him the whole point. But what he's doing is he's playing well, and it's something for him to build on. Do I think he's going to become an elite right back? Hell no. But right now, he deserves to be Tottenham's right wing back, and I fully expect to see him start against Chelsea.
All right, Brian, always a pleasure, my friend. Thanks for coming
Always
on.
a pleasure, boys. Everyone, have a fantastic day, and as always, Levy out.
See you there, Brian.
See you, Brian.
All right, last caller of the day. It's KPV. He told us he's not going to be watching Spurs for the rest of the season. Did he watch the game yesterday? Let's find out.
Oh, he's on mute.
He's on mute.
Come
Now
on,
I'm
Carl,
back.
you jabroni.
Did you watch it yesterday,
no.
Carl?
Come on, man. I watched the game. What are you talking about, fam?
You said the other day you're not watching Spurs for the rest of the season.
That's because they let me down after the North London derby. They let me down. That's why I wasn't going to watch, because they let us down. And, like, you don't lose at home. But finally, we beat West Ham at home again for 2 seasons in a row. Like, that's 2 times. But, like, yeah, but 2 seasons in a row we've been at my home, and second clean sheet at home against them since after the restart, when the Premier League had to be stopped because of the coronavirus pandemic. And that was the last time we beat them 2-0. But Kane scored. This time it's different. Son scored. So it's the other way round. So, but brilliant win yesterday. And Emerson, Emo Go, as we should be calling him, Emo Go. Brilliant performance. And yeah, he's in the form of his life. So you must put on a fan cam video, Emerson Royale is in the form of his life, because I've been asking you every time and you've not been doing what I've been asking. But please, just put on a fan cam video for me, please.
What are you talking about?
We don't bow to demands, Kyle.
Exactly. You don't tell us what to do.
Look here, you. I came on this channel 2 years ago after the United game. We drew 1-0, and I put and you put Lloris made a save of the season. So I want it on the fan cam video immediately, all right? So
and what are you going to do about it?
Well, I want it on the fan cam video, all right? You're going to do what I say, all right? So do what I want, man. Jesus. What are you? The cat's father?
Talk to me about top 4, Carl, this year. Are we getting top 4? Are we into the top 4 finally?
I was asked by Josh yesterday and I said yes. Yes! 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 We're getting top 4, man. People saying we're not, but I stand with Son. People are just abusing him. it's happened against West Ham again, like it did last season. For fuck's sake, just punish those West Ham fans and just suspend their Twitter account, calling them a CUNT. I'm not saying it, but that's what it's been getting called, a dog and a CUNT. Seriously, enough is enough. There is no room for racism. The same happened with Bergwijn. You have to disable this comment on Insta, and now Son's getting it again. Like, social media companies need to act quickly, take action, and just do their job and suspend accounts. Come on, do your job. And you're not going to do it, then you should just be sacked. Seriously. Do your job.
Do you think Richarlison keeps his place for the Chelsea game? What would you do with the Son, Richarlison, Danjuma situation?
I think Richarlison does, I think, keep his place, but give Danjuma a chance, man. Like, what's going on? Like, yesterday I think, what, someone was asked, did Bergwijn start against City and score in his debut? Like, yeah, he did. And we haven't seen another Dutchman score on their debut yet at home. But, like, give Danjuma a start, man. We're still waiting for Richie to score his first Premier League goal. But, like, hopefully that can happen against Chelsea, who are getting absolutely smacked at the moment. They lost to Southampton, and so I start Richarlison. And people are saying, "Oh, Son should be dropped." Like, you're clearly taking the piss. I
All right.
don't think he should be dropped, but yeah, I'm gonna say, like, start Richie, and hopefully Son comes off the bench and scores again. And but Son and Kane just love scoring against Chelsea, so we're gonna win anyway. Because there's rumours going around that Potter's gonna get sacked, but I don't believe it for 1 second. And he's, but yeah, we're gonna win Sunday, and yeah, so we're gonna smack them and bring on Wolves and then Milan. But I'll see you guys there. And as always, Levy out, Daigle in.
Big up KPV,
Big up,
as
KPV.
always. And I think that brings an end to the fan show, to the match review. We'll see you very soon for player ratings and 5 takeaways. But Spurs are in the top 4, West Ham in the bottom 3. And happy days, brought a smile to our face. But we'll see you all very soon. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always,
Come on, you Spurs.